Widows is a heist movie written and directed by Steve McQueen that stars a bevy of people in acting, including Viola Davis, Elizabeth Debicki, Michelle Rodriguez, Colin Farrell, Liam Neeson, and Daniel Kaluuya. I was definitely interested in this movie going into it. I'm a big fan of Steve McQueen's movie 12 Years a Slave. I really loved and was really impacted by that movie. I love heist movies. I'm a big fan of a lot of the people that are involved in this movie, so what's not to look forward to? And I gotta say, in terms of heist movies, this is exactly how one should be done. In the beginning of the movie, you see Liam Neeson. He leads this group of thieves. They try to steal $2 million from this crime boss named Jamal Manning. They try to get away with it. They're stopped. They're killed by it. They lose the money. After that incident, Jamal Manning, he confronts Viola Davis, who is Liam Neeson's widow, and he tells her, hey, I need that $2 million because I'm running in a political party against Colin Farrell. So guess what? You have a week to get me that money, or I'm gonna fucking kill you. And obviously Viola Davis doesn't have $2 million to just give the guy, so she's wondering, alright, what the fuck am I gonna do? But at this time, she's able to delve more into what Liam Neeson did, and she discovers that his next plan was to commit a robbery of $5 million. She has the plans in front of her, and she's thinking, maybe I can pull this off, but I'm gonna need help. So she goes and recruits the widows of 2 other thieves that were part of Liam Neeson's group, which includes Michelle Rodriguez and Elizabeth Debicki. She informs them of what she plans to do, and she says, hey, so listen up. The 3 of us will go in, we'll pull off this job, we'll give the $2 million to Jamal Manning, who our husbands robbed from, and then we'll each have $1 million to divide among each other. Just like that, we will be free of the lives that our husbands essentially just put us into, and we'll have the money to start a new lives for our own families. The 2 of them agree to be a part of the plan, and now it's the 3 widows trying to execute this. And a lot just really works in this movie. First of all, the performances in this movie are awesome. Viola Davis crushes it in this movie. I love seeing her really take charge in this. I love seeing her being the leader of these widows. I love her understanding, like, hey, our husbands made this mistake, we have to right this wrong. And what I also love seeing with Viola Davis as the movie goes on is just the damage that she has gone through in her life. There's one moment in particular, the movie really shows what may have caused a bit of a strain between her and Liam Neeson's relationship. Their son was pulled over by a cop. At one point his phone was ringing, and as he was pulled over, he just reached over to grab for it. The cop assumed, he's reaching for a gun, so the cop shot their son. Their son being black, and of course paints a negative life on the police officers, but what I appreciated in this moment is, like, it acknowledges, black oppression against policemen, but it's not in your face with it. It was something that was put into this movie that had a purpose being there, and I appreciated that. Also, Elizabeth Debicki, I may be butchering her last name, but she also does a really good job here. Her husband that was killed, he was very abusive towards her, so, she's used to being very submissive, just doing what people tell her to do. And really, she hasn't really had to work for anything in her life. I mean, after her husband dies, she's essentially become a sugar baby to this real estate guy who just, pays for everything she wants, and then she just fucks later. So that's why I like seeing her get involved in this mission, because she knows that's not the life she wants to live. She wants to set up her own life. She just wants to be her own person, and she knows with $1 million, she can do that. Even Michelle Rodriguez was great in this movie. Normally, I'm not a fan of her in the movies that she is in, because she always comes off as that character that feels she has to prove herself. She's not really like that here. I mean, she is to a degree, because one of the lines she has in this movie is, she says, I want my kids to know that I didn't just sit there and take the abuse, so I guess you could say to a point she still is that character, but it fit more well here. What also made the movie a lot more believable is the fact that these 3 women, when they're collecting everything they need for this job, guns, a van, deciphering blueprints, what makes it a lot more believable is they have no idea what exactly they're doing because they're not criminals. So they have to figure out exactly how to set up the perfect crime, how to get what they need without drawing attention to themselves. It makes the movie a lot more believable, because if they were just able to get this stuff as easily as they were able to, the movie just wouldn't feel real. And what also makes things tough for the widows is they gotta deal with Jamal Manning's brother, played by Daniel Kaluuya, making life extremely difficult for them. Daniel Kaluuya, I gotta touch on him for a second, because holy shit, he crushes it in this movie. If it hasn't already been established that he's one of the best actors in Hollywood already, then yeah, this movie definitely will establish that. You wanna talk about having an intimidating, just menacing villain? Yeah, this guy fits that role perfectly. Just the way he presents himself, the way he talks to people, the way whenever he's having a conversation with someone, he wants to be right there looking them in the eye, making things really uneasy for them. Every time this dude was on screen just talking to someone, I'm just watching and I'm just like, I don't like this. Just stop looking at me. Stop talking to me. That's how I would feel in that moment. And at one point, he's in like a gymnasium. He kills one guy, has the other guy run away, and then shoots him. Then he meets this dude who was in a wheelchair who gave Viola Davis some information. He basically just stabs him to death. And of course, to make life more difficult for Viola Davis, he kidnaps her chauffeur and he has him beaten to death, and he literally calls like, hey, guess what, he's dead, and you only have so little time left to get us the money. It's like I'm watching this movie, I'm like, okay, I know this Jamal Manning guy is supposed to be the crime boss, the crime lord in this movie, but I think I'd rather deal with him than Daniel Kaluuya. But what this movie also does really well is you think it's just going to be a simple heist movie. It's like, alright, you have this plan, you have what's going to be executed, it's gonna be simple. No, the movie also throws you for a lot of curveballs that you don't really see coming, and that's awesome. I love when the movie says, no, let us tell you the story. Because it's after her chauffeur is killed, Viola Davis goes to visit the fourth widow, and she tries to recruit her in on this to be the new driver. And this woman who already has a newborn baby, she's like, no, I don't really want to get involved with it. I can't do that because of this baby I have to take care of, which Viola Davis understands. But at one point, Viola Davis's dog, like, starts barking at this closet that's in this woman's house. You know, Viola Davis wants to see what it is. She begins to think, she knows what it is, so she just leaves, you know, distraught. And then immediately after she leaves, the widow that she was talking to, she goes and she opens the closet door. And who's behind the closet door? A living and breathing Liam Neeson. The second I saw that in the movie, I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, apparently it turns out Liam Neeson was hired by Colin Farrell in order to help Colin Farrell's political party, that he was going to set up his partners, have them killed, which he had happen, and then from there, he was just going to use his money to start a new life with this new widow, have a new white family with her, and just start a new life while Colin Farrell won his political event. It's just a twist that I never saw coming at any point in this movie. I mean, I thought, alright, Liam Neeson's just in the beginning of this movie, he was a thief, he was killed, and that's that. No, apparently Liam Neeson is an asshole who betrayed his family, who betrayed his wife, who betrayed his friends who he was working with, just so he could start his own life and get away scot-free. I do also want to briefly address the political aspect in this movie because it is there with Colin Farrell, but it's not like in your face with it, and that's what I kind of appreciated because I'm not a big political person, but I know in a movie like this, with the plot that it has to be in there. Because I do like seeing that with Colin Farrell and with the character of Jamal Manning, just what they have to do to get the money they need to fund their political parties, to do what they have to do, the questions that they take in from these reporters. Gives you like a little peek behind the curtain with what's really going on in political parties. Maybe it's not, but could be. Would not be surprised if Trump has some stuff hiding under the rug that he used to get elected. Now it's the big night of the heist. Everything has to go down. The widows, they've hired Michelle Rodriguez as babysitter to be the new driver for them. They go into this mansion. They're able to sneak in. They're able to get the money, but it turns out the person they're robbing from is Colin Farrell's father. And now he shoots Elizabeth Debicki. The widows, they shoot him and they kill him, but now Elizabeth Debicki, she's losing a lot of blood. It's like, alright, we gotta get her to the hospital, like, now. Of course, they run into another hiccup in their plan when Daniel Kaluuya has figured out what they're doing. He steals their car, he steals their money. What I like seeing in this moment is they're like, no, we've come way too far, let's let this asshole just take everything from us. So, you know, they steal someone else's car, they just ram into him, they kill Daniel Kaluuya in pretty gruesome fashion. He just bashes his face against the windshield. And how did I feel when that happened? Pretty happy, actually. I was happy to see him eat shit and die. That's when you know you played a great villain. At this point, Viola Davis, she's like, alright, I'm gonna take the money to the hideout. The rest of you, get Elizabeth Debicki to treatment, get her, you know, fixed, get her taken care of. But conveniently for her, she runs into Liam Neeson at this hideout, who's gonna try to take the money from Viola Davis, just knocks her aside. Before he leaves, though, he's like, you know what, I gotta kill her for good measure. And, you know, he pulls out a gun at her, you hear a gunshot, and you think, oh, did he kill her? But no, Viola Davis, she shot first. Liam Neeson falls to the ground dead. And what I like seeing with her that's smart is, you know, she takes the gun that she fired at him with, and she puts the gun into his hand, making it look like, I don't know, like a suicide attempt. And so with that, the money is paid off to the crime boss. He loses the political election, though, to Colin Farrell, who gets now kind of the sympathy vote because his father was killed. And now the other women have the money they need to start their own lives. Michelle Rodriguez is babysitter. She and her daughter, they go start a new life. Michelle Rodriguez gets her store back. Elizabeth Debicki, she starts her own business. And Viola Davis, she opens a public library in memory of her son. And yeah, that right there is pretty much where the movie ends. So all in all, I thought Widows was an awesome movie. Every actor in this movie does a great job. There's really not a false note anywhere. I particularly love the performances from Viola Davis, Elizabeth Debicki, and Daniel Kaluuya. I loved seeing the planning to the heist, the build-up for the heist. It wasn't slow, it wasn't drawn out, it was actually really engaging. I like seeing that these widows who have no idea what they're doing have to pull something like this off. The actual heist, when it goes down, it's exciting, it's fun, it's intense. The movie threw you for a bunch of twists and turns that you really don't see coming. I always love when a movie can do that. The one flaw that I have with this movie, and this may be a little bit nitpicking, but when my friend and I, when we were leaving, we were discussing this movie on the ride home, and we both pointed out, like, you know, when Viola Davis was visiting the fourth widow, who was, you know, having her relationship with Liam Neeson, we were thinking to ourselves, wait a minute, Liam Neeson's now dead, Viola Davis had visited that widow, And we're thinking to ourselves, that widow's probably going to be able to piece together that Viola Davis killed Liam Neeson now that he's dead. Like, this lady's probably not a simpleton. She's going to be able to piece together, wait a minute, my husband's now gone. His widow was just here trying to plan a heist. It is one of those loose ends that I can't ignore, but other than that, this movie was fantastic. It was awesome. It was a great time. And in the end, this is exactly the way a heist movie should be done. It's one of the best I've seen in a while. That's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.